Hey guys, it's Amy. So thanks for being on the team call tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about the basics to your business and really what are the things you need to do as a new ambassador, as someone shooting for silver, gold, even senior gold to really work your business. Because I will tell you, while our team is amazing and our upline is amazing, we have all of these resources, right? And I think a lot of times that overwhelms people and they aren't sure what to do. That overwhelmness makes them get stuck and it's just too much. But if I think back to when I started Plexus, we didn't have Zoom. We didn't have this. We didn't have weekly calls. We didn't have Facebook Live. We didn't have launch parties. We didn't have Facebook parties. We didn't have any of that. And so when I think back to what I did to build my business, it's really pretty simple. And so I wanted to go over that tonight. I am going to share a PowerPoint presentation just with a few slides. But guys, this is really, my team calls informal. Unmute yourself, ask a question, chat it. Sarah Cunningham's on tonight. She's going to kind of tag team this with me. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quickly so we can get the PowerPoint. So when you first, oh wait, we got a chat already. Oh, from Mandy, all right. So let me go ahead. You can see the slideshow, right? Okay. So, really guys, the very, very, very first thing you want to do as a new ambassador, you want to tell your inner circle. And this is even for your wholesalers, okay? And a lot of people don't think about doing this, especially when they're like, I'm not going to sell. And if you've heard my testimony, I came home and told Steve, I said, hey, we're going to take this little pink drink, but don't tell anybody, right? Well, here's why this is a mistake for a couple of reasons. One, you're starting this new health and wellness journey. Even if you are skeptical, even if you're not sure it's going to work, you want to tell the people you do life with. Now, for me, after I had been on it for a couple of days, I did two things. I called my mom. Actually, no, my mom was here. They were visiting. So I got my mom to sign up, and I sent Sarah Cunningham a message and said, have you heard of this pink drink? And she said, no, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I've drank the Kool-Aid. You're going to sign up. And literally, I think I had mailed her like 2 sticks. And I was like, you're doing this. And then my college roommate, Emily, I don't know if she's on the call, I did the same thing. I don't even think I sent her sticks though, so don't tell her. I think I just sent her a message. But that's what you do, right? Those are the people you do life with. Don't project onto them just because they're your close friends and family that they're not going to want to do this with you, okay? So that's the very first thing I tell people to do. Even for wholesalers who say they don't want to work the business, you want to tell them, because here's what happens. I've seen this happen so many times. You don't tell anyone you're doing Plexus, right, at all, or that you're even an ambassador. And then you go to Sunday dinner and your sister or your cousin is like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm doing Plexus. I signed up. I'm loving it. And you're like, what? You're doing it? I didn't know. And so they don't sign up under you. They're off doing it. They signed up on somebody else. And now you have family members that aren't on the same team. So even for your wholesalers, I encourage them. They don't have to work the business. They don't have to post on Facebook, but just tell your friends and family that you're taking Plexus, okay? Share that excitement. Now, you can still, with your inner circle, you can still get them on the phone in a 3-way with your upline, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's kind of the very first thing when you have a new ambassador that says they want to go silver, or they want to work the business, or they want to get their products paid for. Okay, who's in your inner circle? Who's your best friend? Who's your cousin? Who's your sister? Who's your brother? Who's your mom? For most people, those are the ones that are going to jump on board with you. Now, I also know that for a lot of people, family is like the worst. And they are the last to jump on board. In fact, I was chatting today with one of our diamonds, not in our upline. She's Hannah Kelly. She's another diamond off some other team. But she had said that today, she's been doing Plexus for 4 years. And today, finally, she has no family that'll do it with her, no friends that'll do it with her. I mean, can you imagine 4 years on Plexus? No one's doing it with you. Today, for the first time, one of her friends that she's been kind of working on for 4 years finally is trying it. And guys, she's a diamond. So she made diamond without an inner circle. But that's really the first step, is to tell your inner circle, okay? So you heard what I did when I first started. And remember, guys, let me just back up a second. And Sarah, jump in, because I don't really have any like script. Let me back up a second, because I hear a lot of people say, well, you know, Amy, you are a stay-at-home mom now. Like, you've got all kinds of time to work your business. Or, you know, I work 2 jobs. I work 3 jobs. I am busy. Totally get it. So let me back up, because this is going to come into play for the next kind of 6 things we're going to talk about tonight. When I first started Plexus, guys, remember when I drew my line in the sand, I was working well over 40 hours a week, and I had that 1 hour commute on each end. So we would leave my house at 6:30 in the morning, and we wouldn't get home until about 7. By the time we did, like, you know, baby stuff and dinner and playtime and bedtime, it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, okay? So I get it. And I did not have a job where I could be on my computer doing Plexus. Like, that would have been a big, huge no-no. And I didn't have a job where I could play on my phone all day. You know, most of my job was spent in meetings with other people. So what I did when I drew my line in the sand and decided I'm going to work this business and I'm going to do something every single day, I carved out 30 minutes every night. After Steve would go to bed and after Adelaide would go to bed, I would stay up. Now, most of the time, I was exhausted, and I would have to drink a Second Slim or have a cup of coffee because I was tired, and I didn't want to stay up. But my drive to make Plexus work was bigger than me getting that extra 30 minutes of sleep, okay? The other thing I did is every Saturday, unless we were out of town or something, but I would get up 1 hour before Steve and Adelaide would, and I would go to Starbucks with my laptop and my Plexus notebook, and I would work my business for that 1 hour. And then the only other thing I did, guys, in the beginning is I sacrificed bath time once or twice a week. And it'd be like right now, I would let Steve do bath time so I could jump on a team call. And again, back then it was a team call on the phone. It wasn't even a Zoom. Or I would go to an opportunity meeting if we had one of those. So I literally, guys, worked my business 30 minutes a day, all the way up until Ruby. Now, certainly there might be times on a Saturday I'd get a 2-hour block and I'd work it. But if you stick to these basics, it will make you successful. You just have to do it every single day. Oh, hang on. Okay. So the next thing is you have to share Plexus, right? You have to share your journey if you're going to work this business. People need our products. They need this opportunity, but you have to get out of that mindset of selling. And I actually think that's harder the longer you've been doing Plexus. Bear with me for a second. I've been doing Plexus for 2 years. A lot of you guys have been doing it that long with me. We think about Plexus 28 hours a day, right? Like, we're constantly thinking about Plexus. And because of that, and because we love all of like the new graphics that are coming out on Slim, and we love all the research and all the new things and all the success stories, we have a tendency to spam our friends and to sell Plexus, right? Because we want new customers, we want new ambassadors, we want to hit those goals, we want that PV. I think we have more of a tendency the longer we've been in it, because we're inundated with Plexus and it doesn't come across as salesy to us anymore when we're posting all of these things all of the time. So sometimes we have to take a step back and really look at what we're sharing on social media. But, you know, in the beginning, I posted about Plexus once a day. That was it. I had a rule because I did not want to be that network marketing friend that everyone avoided. I did not want my coworkers to think I'd gone crazy, because I was still kind of skeptical to network marketing my first month. And so because of that, I limited it to 1 post a day. Guys, that 1 post a day and reaching out to people every day, that got me to Fast Start Gold, okay? But you have to be smart about it. You don't want to be salesy. And I know there are a lot of cute graphics out there. I know people make some awesome things. But when people see that and they're scrolling, people don't scroll Facebook to see a cool graphic, right? They scroll Facebook to see you. That's why they're friends with you. So the more you can post you, the better. I don't know if Tammy's on tonight. I'm going to call Tammy out. I love Tammy. She's my cousin. She didn't like selfies. She would always, for a while, like every time I would scroll, I would see her pink drink and a chalkboard. And she had a cute little like saying. It was like a little chalkboard on her kitchen counter. And she would put a cute little saying. But finally I was like, Tammy, like, you got to do a selfie. People want to see you. Even I am scrolling past that chalkboard. And I love Plexus. So I know your friends are doing it too. Right? So just some things to think about, guys. You have to remember who your network is on Facebook. And for me, I built my business on Facebook, but I was very strategic. I knew who my network was. I knew who was in it. So even if Sarah Taylor had a super awesome post, I knew whether or not my network would respond to it. So you really have to know who your network is. And just because I post something that's awesome or you see another great post, it might not resonate with your network. My network when I first started was a lot of new moms, a lot of CrossFit junkies somehow, and I was never a CrossFitter, and a lot of skeptical scientists that worked with Steve. So you have to really know who your network is on Facebook to be able to share with them. But guys, share anything, okay? Because you don't know what post is going to resonate with what person. A lot of times people think they need some huge testimony to share Plexus. Either they need to lose a lot of weight, they need to get off medications, they need to have some amazing health issue completely reversed. That's not true, guys. That is not true. My very first post was because I did not have to take a nap. That was it. I think my next post for like 2 or 3 weeks was that I didn't need a pot of coffee to function. That was it, guys. And that alone got people interested because there are people out there like me who not needing a nap would rock their world. Okay. So don't think you have to have some super amazing testimony to share. We have people on the team that actually ranked as silver before they even get their products because they share what these products can do. They share what these products have done to their friends, and they just share kind of that they're starting the journey and they're excited about it. If you're excited and you're passionate, people are going to want to be a part of it no matter what it is, okay? You should try to do 3 things, though, with those posts. And when I say posting, it can be Instagram, it can be Facebook, it can be Snapchat, whatever your social media is. I just think most people are on Facebook, so that's what we usually talk about. But you definitely want to be real. You want to still share your life. That's why people friended you in the first place. And if they only start seeing Plexus posts, they're going to unfollow you or they're not going to pay any attention when you do have a really good post because they're used to just scrolling past you. You want to educate and inspire and entertain. So what I did, I was really strategic in the beginning. This is my notebook from when I was ranking. I kept this all the way up through Sapphire, and then I had to start a new notebook. But one of the sections in here are posts. In fact, I'm going to try to find it. But I would write down, anytime I thought of a good idea for a post, I would write it down. Okay? Yeah, here it is. Here's all of the post ideas that I had. I would write it down. Like, I was tired of being on restricting diets because we'd done Whole30 several times. I was tired of that. I was tired of binge eating. I was a binger. I was tired of, wasting another week of not going to the gym. So anyway, like all of these ideas, I'd write them down. And then I was strategic in when I shared them. Same with my personal posts. So like if Adelaide did something super cute, but I didn't need a personal post that day, I would save it and post it the next day. So it is easy to just share on Facebook, but the more you can really think about it and be strategic, I think the better. Definitely, guys, if you're a new ambassador, or even if you've been around but you haven't watched the compliance video, you definitely want to be compliant. Keep in mind, that's not Plexus being mean. That's Plexus protecting us from the FDA and the FTC. The Federal Trade Commission has lots of rules on what can and cannot be shared. And once something is shared on your social media platform, if you identify yourself as working for a network marketing company, that personal platform, according to the FTC, now becomes your business platform. So we just want to be compliant, and it's to protect Plexus. We don't want to be any of those other companies that have gotten shut down. The other thing, guys, though, you got to get out from behind your screen. I think this is something we forget, because social media, with one click of the button, we can reach 1,000 people, right? If you were to do that in person, it would take you forever to reach 1,000 people. So social media is amazing, but guys, this is network marketing for a reason. It's about networks and relationships. So you've got to get out from behind that screen. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you have to go and all of a sudden host sip and sees and go to vendor things and go talk to strangers at the grocery store. You just have to get out and talk to the people you normally talk to and have those relationships with them, and don't be afraid to share Plexus. Now, you don't want to puke Plexus. You can wait for Plexus to come up on its own, but by you being friendlier and you being more engaging and asking people questions like, where do your kids go to school? What gym do you work out in? Hey, do you come to this nail salon often? Just engaging in conversations, I promise you Plexus is going to come up. And if you're worried on how, one of the silver bullets of how to always bring up Plexus without mentioning Plexus first is, when you're chatting with somebody, ask them what they do for a living. Well, hey, what do you do for a living? Or, hey, where do you work? What do you do? Because you know what? They're always going to come back and ask you. 99% of the time, they're going to ask you, well, what do you do? And that's where you can say, well, for a health and wellness company. Or you can say, like what I say is, well, I help people change their lives, and I help mamas stay home with their babies. Like I'll say that if I'm talking to mom, like at the school, right? So practice your little kind of elevator speech on what do you do. You can say you're a brand ambassador for the greatest company in the history of the universe, or whatever you want to say to get someone's attention. Hang on, we've got some chats coming in. Yes, you try to be creative and original. Some days it works, and a lot of days it doesn't. So it really helps, I think, guys. You're talking about the posting, right? To get original on the posting. It really helps if you can just write down all of your ideas. I also keep some in the notes on my phone. And then, guys, when I was going to Starbucks for that hour on Saturday, that's when I would plan out my post for the week. I'm not organized enough or specific enough to say, like, this post has to be on Monday at 2 o'clock. But what I would do is I would say, okay, so for the first week of the month, I want to talk about, so here's what I did in May one year. This is May of 2015. So for the first week of May, I wanted to talk about Mother's Day. And then that next weekend, I wanted to do a personal video. Then I wanted to do some like summer posts. And then I wanted to do a paycheck post around payday. So that's what I mean when I say I scheduled it. Now some people are a lot more prescriptive, and they actually schedule it per day, but I couldn't do that. And I like some of the fluidity. But if you have an idea of what your Plexus post is going to be, then you don't have to think about it. Yes. Okay. So Jen mentioned she tries to do some targeted posts. That's really good. I did that a lot too. And here's, I think, what I mean by targeted posts. I had all these CrossFit friends that I just knew in my gut. If I cold messaged them, even though they were friends, if I reached out to them cold and said, hey guys, you're going to love Plexus. I love it. Do you want to try it with me? They would have laughed me out of the room. So instead, what I did is I made sure that they were seeing, they were in my newsfeed, and I knew they were going to be online. I did CrossFit and Plexus posts. And so that's how I got some of those people, right? But it really takes knowing your network. Okay? The other thing, you guys, you have to have, and this is whether it's your first day as an ambassador or your 1,000th day as an ambassador or whatever, you have to have your Franks list. You have to have a list that you are working from, because posting is not enough. If you are just posting and hoping people are going to message you, then your business is not going to go anywhere. You have to take that step out of your comfort zone and message people about Plexus. Now, you don't have to message everyone, but you have to message some people. So here's what the Franks list is when you hear us say Franks. It actually stands for friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids connections, and social organization. So what I did when I drew my line in the sand at that opportunity meeting, I remember it clear as day. The next day, in the Plexus Dream Team page. So I went through all of the files on the team page just to see what the heck was in there. That's actually how I learned a lot of my troubleshooting too. I found Eric Warre's memory jogger. I thought, oh, all right, let me see what this is. And his memory jogger says to write down names of 100 people. I didn't even know what the Franks list was. It just said list the names of 100 people. And I thought, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but that's what it says to do. I've drawn my line in the sand. I want to treat this like a real business. That's what I'm going to do. So I made this super fancy Excel spreadsheet. I had it by column with their name, how I know them, and whether I thought they'd be interested in the health, the wealth, or the weight loss aspect of Plexus. And I wrote 100 names down. I just brain dumped. Anyone I interacted with on Facebook, my friends, people we got to dinner with, and then I'd even put people on there like the nail salon lady who I didn't even know her name at the time, or the postman. All these names, total brain dump. Now, did I keep up with that list? No, I can't keep up with Excel. So I transferred it to paper. Did I keep up with health, wealth, or weight loss? No, I didn't. But what that initial list did, it got me thinking, just by the fact of kind of that brain dump and putting all these people's names down, it got me thinking like, oh, I could reach out to that person right now. I think she'd really love Plexus, and I think she'd be receptive to it. Or, oh yeah, I saw that person post something on Facebook the other day about Mike. I'm going to go ahead and send them a message, okay? And you will have a feel for your people on whether or not you can legit send a message or not. Hang on, I got some chats coming in.
Amy, can you mute? There's a lot of background noise.
Is it mute? Okay, let me mute everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can unmute yourselves if you need to. Let me go back to the chat real quick. Sorry.
That's better. Yeah, we haven't been able to really hear you. There's been a lot of scratchy noise.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, keep notes on her phone. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, so I used to screenshot things too, and then, so that's a good idea. Michelle says she screenshots and what her friends are going through. I used to screenshot too, and then I just had way too many pictures on my phone that they got lost, but I used to do that too back when I was first starting. But just, guys, the fact of brain dumping that Franks list is huge. But it doesn't stop there. You can't just make the Franks list and then put it aside and be posting every day. You actually need to get that list out, and that's what your daily activity should be. That's the bare minimum of what you need to do to work your business. You should always be adding people into the list funnel, and other people should be leaving that funnel, okay? People should be joining, people should be ordering, but you're constantly adding to that Franks list. It doesn't mean the minute you put somebody's name on it, you're actually going to reach out to them, right? There are a couple of moms at Adelaide School that I've added to the list that I know I have to build that relationship first. There was a woman that I met at the nail salon that the only reason I talked to her was because of Plexus. And here's what I mean when I say that. Normally when I go to the nail salon, I sit down and I'm either playing on my phone or I'm watching TV. I'm like I let my brain shut off. So when there's women next to me also getting their nails done, I'm just like, hey, how are you? That's it. Like regular, hey, how you doing? Okay. This one time though, because of Plexus, because I'm opening myself up to new relationships, we had our little niceties. And then I turned to her and I said, hey, do you come to this nail place often? because I come here all the time and I've never seen you. And she said, yes, I do come here often. I was like, oh man, that's great. Do you have kids? She said, yeah. We just started chit-chatting, guys. We talked about our kids, where they go to school, where she works, where I work. And then at the end of it, once our nails were done, I said, hey, this might be super weird, but I really enjoyed talking to you today. Can I add you on Facebook so we can go to lunch next week and hang out? Because meeting mom friends is really hard. And she was like, yes, that would be awesome. She's like, I don't think it's weird, but you're right. Meeting mom friends is hard. So we added each other on Facebook. I followed up immediately when I got home and said, let's go to lunch next week. Did not mention Plexus. And we had an awesome lunch. She knew I did Plexus, right? I took my block at lunch. Never mentioned it though. And I have to say, we're really good friends. Our kids play together. I had a pool day over at her house. And she's now a customer. But it wasn't one that I had to kind of force that relationship. And I knew that I wanted to be friends with her, and I didn't want her to think that I was only friends with her because of Plexus. So I just let it come up on its own. But those are the people you have to still add to your friends list. And when you're brand new, guys, I've had this happen way too many times. I've not added people to my list because I'm chatting with them in Messenger, right? Well, then what happens? They go silent, and then you quit following up. And then the next thing you know, you have forgotten about them. They've either joined somebody else's team, which happened to me not too long ago, or they don't order Plexus, or they would have had you reach back out to them, but you forgot you even talked to that person. So always, always write their name down. You should always be looking at your list. One thing I do when I had that big, huge list of 100 people, then I took like the top 20 of my active potentials that I really wanted to talk to about Plexus somehow, and I wrote them on a separate page. At the beginning of every month, I still do it. At the beginning of every month, I write down who my potentials are, who I need to touch base with this month, who I'm going to reach out to this month. So that's what the Frank's list is. And really, once you start thinking through all of these, all of your friends, all of your relatives, like there is no enemy, guys, when you're talking about your Frank's list. Even if you hate them and they hate you, you write their name down. It's just the process of jogging your memory. Acquaintances, neighbors, kids connections. So like coaches, teachers, daycare workers, administration, bus drivers, anyone your kids come in contact to, kids, parents of your kids' friends, which is great because you're really, a lot of times, especially if they're like in daycare or preschool, they're getting new kids in their class pretty often. So new parents you can connect with. And then social organizations, those are things maybe if you volunteer, you do some rescue, or even like if you go to the gym, if you take a class, anything like that, okay? I thought I saw a chat come through. I can't see it now. It's not, oh, there we go. Yeah, so Jen, that's the other thing too, right? Adding new friends on Facebook. That's how you expand your network for sure. But the other part of the basics of working your business, and I think this is hard for new ambassadors. This is why you really, really, really want to use your upline for three-way chats. Because when you're a new ambassador and you're excited about Plexus, what do you have a tendency to do? You have a tendency to puke Plexus on people, right? The minute somebody says, hey, yeah, I saw you post about that pink drink. What is it? You go, bleh, and you tell them all this stuff. It's great. It balances your blood sugar. It's awesome. No caffeine, no sugar. It's made with stevia. It's got this. The pink is from beets, and on and on and on. And what have you done? You have overwhelmed your potential. They've glazed over, and they're not replying back to you, okay? So what you want to do is be a consultant. We're not selling anything. We don't have to give everybody all of the information in the beginning. Think about it, guys. Think about it like this. If you have a friend come to you and they tell you, oh my gosh, Sarah, this awesome restaurant downtown, you've got to go. We had the best steak. The service was awesome. What does somebody say when they tell you that? You're like, oh, that's great. I'll check it out. What's the name? I'll put it in my phone. You don't ask, right? Well, where was the chef trained? How many chefs are there? Is there a sous chef? How long has the manager been on site? What's their rating from the health department? You don't ask any of that, right? Because your friend came and said how great this stuff is. So it's the same thing when somebody asks about Plexus. Right away, initially, they don't need all the information, okay? Now, they may want to get to that initially, and if you have somebody who's like a researcher or very green and likes a lot of info, they'll tell you. But in the beginning, you're just having a conversation with someone, okay? You are just engaging in a back and forth. And so when I first started, I used Sarah Taylor. The minute somebody said, hey, Amy, I'm really interested in that pink drink you're posting about. I was like, hey, that's awesome. What do you want Plexus to help you with? Or do you have any health issues? And the minute they would come back and say, well, yeah, I want to lose some weight, or I want to lose weight, but I have these migraines, I would say, oh my goodness, Plexus can help you so much, but I don't know a whole lot about all the products. I want to make sure I recommend the right thing, but my friend Sarah is a guru, so I'm going to add her to this chat. That's what I did for the first probably 3 months when I was working my Plexus business. And then I let Sarah recommend the product and answer their questions. And that's how I saw how she did a back and forth conversation. It's so helpful, guys. And I know a lot of people don't want to do three-way chats because they project onto their potential that they're not going to like them, that it's a sales tactic, we're going to ambush them. That's not it at all. It really is just somebody who knows a little bit more than you and has had more conversations with Plexus, so it flows a little bit smoother. It's a huge thing for new ambassadors to use those three-way chats, okay? But I still use the same kind of script. I hate to say script because, every conversation is based on the individual, but I do have a pattern, and I still use it to this day. Here's how it is. Super easy. I use it for everybody. I don't care what they ask me. I don't care if they say, how much is it? Where can I buy it? Does it work? Is it a scam? Whatever they ask me, I say, hey, Plexus is amazing. We are a health and wellness company. I know you would absolutely love it, but what are your health issues, or why are you interested? What do you think Plexus could help you with? And then I wait. I sit back and I wait for them to reply. Now, if this is in like a chat or a message, it's obviously a little bit different than if you're talking on the phone with somebody or in person, but I wait for them to get back to me. And then I don't say anything else. If they say, I might say we're a health and wellness company, that's it. I don't talk about how awesome the triplex is. I don't talk about it being a probiotic or a pink drink, nothing, okay? Because here's the thing, guys. No matter how awesome Plexus is, unless you're connecting it to that person, they don't care. Nobody cares, right? We're all in it for ourselves. I didn't care when I got on that phone with Sarah Taylor as a stranger that her probiotic had an antifungal or that her vitamin was the only one with aloe. That meant nothing to me. It wasn't until she found out I had hypothyroidism and then she connected it to me and my issues that I started to care. And so you can't do that until you've asked them questions and you've had a conversation with them, right? So they come back to me and they say, yep, I want to lose some weight, not on any medications, would love more energy. I'm like, ow, that's awesome. Plexus would be perfect for you. You can absolutely get more energy and lose some weight and feel better on Plexus. Just to be sure though, can you look at this chart and let me know if you have any symptoms? So if somebody comes back to me and they have 0 signs of Candida, I send them that little chart. And then I say, I don't need to know which ones, just let me know how many. That way I know exactly. And then usually they'll come back and they'll have several. And I'll say, okay, guys, I'll tell them, okay, based on your health goals, based on the symptoms you have on that chart, I recommend the triplex combo. And then guys, I give them 3 sentences on what the triplex does. That's it, 3 sentences. I don't go into this whole long thing. I tell them, hey, I don't know if you know anything about Candida overgrowth, but because of modern day life, all of us have some form of overgrowth, and it leads to all these health issues, including, and I make sure to put in there what they're dealing with. And I say, our probiotic combo gets rid of the bad stuff and gives you more of the good stuff. You're going to feel great. And then I wait for them to reply back. I'll say, what do you think? And I wait for them to reply back. So guys, it's a give and take. If you are sending all of this information when somebody says, what is Plexus? And then they're going away, that's probably why. And it's okay. Hey, we've all been there. We've all puked Plexus on people, especially in the beginning. The good news is you can reach out to them now and be like, hey, whoa, sorry I puked Plexus on you. I just really love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to get started. But I didn't mean to scare you away. Can we chat about it now and how it can help you? So I don't want anyone to think like, oh my gosh, I got off on the wrong foot. I'm not talking about Plexus right. My business is ruined. You can change up how you're doing things anytime, okay, guys? But it's always a back and forth. And you also want to set realistic expectations when you're talking to people, especially for weight loss. I mean, I'm kind of cringing with this new Slim because everyone's losing weight, but I'm like, do we really want to tell people we're losing weight in 7 or 8 days? Because we don't want to get in that cycle again, right? So set realistic expectations. Once they come back to me and they're like, yeah, the triplex sounds great, I usually sometimes tell them too, I'm like, look, you can start on just Slim. You can absolutely start on just Slim, but you're not gonna get help with X, Y, and Z. Like you need the full combo for X, Y, and Z, whatever that might be, okay? But then that's when I tell them, look, you got to give it 90 days. And so if you're not going to give it 90 days, I don't want you to waste your money. And let them know it's not a quick fix. I let them know then about die-off. Like once they've decided they're going to buy, and they've asked me for my website, the website's the absolute last thing I give, guys. Then I kind of get that commitment. But be bold. Like it's okay to say, hey, are you going to give this 90 days? Because if you're only going to try it for 30, the triplex is not for you. Like even though you need the probiotic, if you're not going to do it longer than 30 days, maybe you should try Slim and Edge or something else, right? So it's okay to have that back and forth. It's okay to be their consultant. You just don't want to puke Plexus. And sometimes I know that's hard. Let me see here. I think there's a chat, but it's not letting me see the chat. Okay, guys, and then the other basic to your business is you have to follow up. So you have to share Plexus with your inner circle. You have to share on social media. You have to do your Frank's list and talk to people about Plexus. But remember, you're engaging in a conversation. And then you have to follow up with people that you've reached out to and have either said no or not now, or they haven't said anything. All right? This is the most important step. This is what you need to be doing every day as your daily activity, okay? Because look at those statistics, guys. 80% of all sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact, but half of us never follow up after the first time. That's why you're not getting any customers. That's why no one's joining your team. You're not following up, okay? I know I said no 6 or 7 times, and I ignored her phone call after I gave her my number for like 9 days. I mean, you talk about being persistent in her follow-up. I was a stranger on the internet who said no several times, was a butthead about it. And then once I gave her my phone number, I ignored her for 9 more days. Are you kidding? Like, I probably wouldn't have followed up with me. But because she did, she got her first jewel. So you have to follow up. Now, follow-up doesn't always have to be about Plexus. If you know the person, you can follow up just and be their friend, because especially if they're your friend before Plexus and all you're doing now is following up about Plexus, they probably don't want to talk to you anymore. And it has nothing to do with them not wanting to do Plexus. It's just that they miss you being their friend, right? So sometimes follow-up doesn't have to be about Plexus. So that was Jen Buckley. She's on the call. I'm going to call her out. I wanted Jen Buckley to try Plexus. I wanted her on the team. We'd never met before, but we were social media friends for years. And I finally got up the guts to reach out to her. She was like, yeah, maybe I'm interested. Not right now, not this month. So we kept following up. And then all of a sudden, silence, like radio silence. I follow up, nothing. I follow up, nothing. I follow up, nothing. When I go back and look, there's like, you know how you see mine's in blue? They're all blue for several months. She was nothing. So I was like, all right. Well, then I realized, hey, maybe I should stop talking about Plexus. She had just gotten her certification to be a spin instructor. So I sent her a congratulations message, and then I told her about something I know about our resort in Jamaica we go to where she could go for free if she's an instructor. So we started chatting about that. And that was it. I didn't bring up Plexus again. And guess what happened? couple months later, she brought Plexus up to me because I finally had engaged her not about Plexus. So a lot of times, guys, it doesn't have to be about Plexus. But when you are following up, you do want to use positive language. You don't want to say things like, if you're interested, let me know what you think. Do you think you might want to try it? And this is coming from a super skeptic. Had Sarah Taylor said those things to me when she got me on the phone, I'd been like, no, I'm not going to try it. It's not for me. I don't need supplements. I just need to eat healthy and go to the gym. But because she used positive language and she had that bold confidence when she talked to me, she said things like, oh my goodness, you have hypothyroidism. I can't believe you're not on the triplex. You are going to feel amazing. Once you place your order, I'm going to call you to tell you how to take your products. I can't wait for you to feel good and get started. See the difference? When you have that confidence and that passion, that is contagious. So you always want to use that positive language. And use the voice messenger on, don't type it, because people read into text. Like texts and messages are hard. People put feelings in them that shouldn't be there, or they come across a different way, but they can't do that in your voice. They can hear your sincerity and your passion in your voice. So you are not bothering people. If you get in the mindset that you are sharing something that can change their life, just like it's changed yours or your friends or your uplines or your sideline sisters, whatever, you will not feel bad about following up with people. Have another chat, but I can't see it right now. Another thing I want to talk about is samples, guys. Oh, wait, there we go. We got a lot of chats coming in. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So Mandy assumes the sale. Yes. You should always assume the sale. That's perfect, Mandy. That's how you can close all those people. You want to say things exactly like that. Like, when you place your order tonight, I'm going to send you an email, or you are going to feel so good. I can't wait for your order to get there. You always want to assume the sale. Lois has a question about, so Lois, I don't go into a lot about diet. I don't go into a lot of detail about anything. Now, if I have a super green person, which is rare because I'm red blue, I don't attract the greens, but Steve's green, so a lot of his scientist friends are. I normally send them a whole packet of information, like in the mail, like catalog, magazine, all kinds of stuff. YouTube videos. I don't get into any details about anything in the beginning. I tell them they might hit some die-off, and that's just their body getting balanced. Sometimes it's a headache or it's some loose stool. That's it. I leave it there. Once they order, and then I get them on that phone call. Once they get their welcome pack, I pick up the phone and call them and tell them how to take their products and what to expect. Then I go into a little bit more about die-off. So using samples wisely. Guys, I want to talk about this because we've been talking a lot about samples right now for the new Slim, and we have that sample product tester group. But guys, they are not necessary to grow your business. I just want to put that out there. I don't want people to think that you have to use samples and spend that money to work your business. Now, some people do. Molly Orr is an Emerald. She built her business on the 7-day sample. Now, she made people buy them from her, but she used samples. I didn't. I only gave Sarah Cunningham one because she's my bestie. Like, I didn't give any of my other level ones that are on this call or on the team a sample. I just didn't. I didn't want to put a lot of money into this Plexus business in the beginning, and I was more confident in talking to people and sharing my passion and sharing how it can help them, that they didn't need a sample because it's just a taste anyway. And with the 60-day money back guarantee, I told them you can taste it for a whole month, and if you don't like it, you can get your money back. So I did not do samples, so I don't want you to think that you have to. Now, they can be great. I'm doing them now. I'm doing them for the new Slim. But if you're using them, you definitely want to set people's expectations, because if you give them a sample, especially if it's more than one stick, they have no investment in that. They've not paid anything. They're probably not going to take it right away, okay? Sarah Marble, Diamond Sarah Marble, she tells the story. She told it just the other day again. She was at the Houston Opportunity event. She was part of Plexus before they were Plexus, when it was just the breast check kit. And then she quit. She quit. She was like, well, I've sold all the breast check kits I can. They're good for 10 years. Nobody needs any more. I quit. Aleeson, who stayed with the company, sent Sarah Marble a stick of this pink drink. She's like, you got to come back to Plexus. They've created this pink drink. It's amazing. You got to try it. Sarah Marble sat it on her desk for 5 months. She did not try it. Sat on her desk, got piled under the mail, never tried it, okay? Eventually, and her friends following up with her, have you tried it? Have you tried it? She's like, no, I don't even know where it is. Like, I haven't tried it. Too busy. Well, she eventually tried it, and then the rest is history, right? Because she's a diamond now. But that's what I mean. If people aren't buying these themselves, the chances of them taking it right away are only going to happen if you make them take it. And by make them, I mean set expectations and always set the next communication. So today I left a sample in my mailbox for a realtor that I know who finally wants to try Plexus. She's going to be a product tester for us. So I put the samples in there, but I sent her a message. I said, take this first thing in the morning, and I am calling you at 10 o'clock to see if you like the flavor, okay? You have to do that, guys, with people who you give samples to. If not, they are not going to try them. Or if they do, by the time they try it, the excitement of having that sample has worn off. So you always want to set that next communication. And then that's just a picture there. I can share it. I shared it in my thread today of what I sent to her. I sent her a little bit more because she's a product tester and a potential business builder, so I wanted her to feel really special. 2 other things I want to talk about. I was hoping to make this a quick call, but I think I'm going over. I want to talk about all of the team events because we have a lot, and it can be overwhelming. And I don't want anyone to think that, 1, you have to use them, or 2, you have to put all of your potentials in every single event. Guys, that's not what they're here for. They are certainly an amazing resource, okay? Awesome resource, not only for our potentials, but also for us. So like that Plexus Health and Happiness event that's being run by Jen Hawkins, I'm in that just so I can learn about the new Slim, and I can hear from Cindy Latham, our Chief Marketing Officer. I didn't put any potentials in it. Now, it's great for potentials. I just don't have any right now on my list that I think would be receptive to a 5-day online event, right? So you guys just have to use your best judgment on your potentials and use these events wisely. Am I putting every single person who's interested in the new Slim in the product tester group? No, I'm not on my list. The health and happy hour, am I putting everybody in there? No, I'm not. These events are awesome for our new ambassadors to learn. They're awesome for your skeptics. They're awesome for your fence sitters. They're awesome for your greens, the ones who like tons of information and take forever to sign because they can't get enough information, right? But the first line, guys, is for you to just get them to buy and get them to order. If you are reaching out to somebody and offering an event right off the bat, that probably isn't your best bet. You should just be offering Plexus and assuming the sale, right? And then if they're like, I'm not sure, you could say, hey, I tell you what, we have this awesome event every Thursday. It's on Facebook. It's live. You can pop in, hear some testimonies, learn about the science behind the products, and then you can pop right back out. What do you think? See? Or if you have like some dream teamers that you don't think are ready to even have that conversation, you can ask them to do you a favor and attend one of these events and give you some feedback or something like that, okay? So these events are awesome, but I don't want people to think that they have to participate in every single one and that it's for every single one of your potentials. They're there as a resource. And like I said, guys, back when I first started, back when a lot of us first started, we didn't have any of these events. We hadn't even like thought to do them yet. And we had just as much success getting people to try Plexus and getting people to join our teams. If you do use them though, you have to do more than just throw somebody in them. You actually have to participate and be involved and be engaged. Now, when somebody else is running the event, you can do that by tagging them. You don't want to tag them in every single post, but if there's like a live testimony that you really think they could relate to, or if there is a a research post that you really think they would like, you can tag them in it and say, hey, I tagged you because I really want you to watch this. I really think you could relate to it. And then for everyone you put in these events, you always want to set a follow-up, okay? You can't just leave them in there and then hope they reply to you. You want to follow up the very next morning of the event, ask them if they had a chance to attend and watch it. And if they didn't, that's okay. Life happens. People get busy. Ask them if they will watch it that day because those groups don't go away. And then you'll follow up with them like the next morning. So you always want to be following up, okay? The other thing, guys, is, hang on, let's see. Yes, so the team training, the groups, the threads, the chats, the events, the calendars, all of the things that we have. I know it's super overwhelming. And it definitely can be overwhelming for me too, because just think of all the ones you guys are in. I'm probably in quadruple that. So here's the thing. They are an amazing resource, guys. They're awesome. That's how I learned a lot about products, troubleshooting. I can remember sometimes on my lunch hour, if I'd get a lunch hour, I would just kind of scroll a team page just to see what people were asking and how people were answering questions. But you don't have to do everything all of the time, right? You need to prioritize our message threads. You need to prioritize the team calls, the trainings, the challenges, the groups. You need to prioritize them based on where you are in your business. And if you're not sure, ask your upline, okay? We can definitely help you. So for instance, if you're a brand new silver ambassador, or if you're a brand new ambassador and you just want to get to silver, you may not want to be in a week-long IPA challenge, right? Because you're just trying to get to silver. You just need to ask like 3 people to do this with you, right? So definitely keep that in mind with all of these things. Team calls. You want to attend, again, what is relevant. So if you can only be on one team call a month, prioritize it. Find the one that is most relevant to your business. Now, I will tell you guys, as often as you can be live, the better, okay? And I know you're saying, well, I can just watch the recording. Like, well, obviously you guys aren't because you're on it live, but the people who aren't, a lot of people, I get it. You're busy. Stuff happens. You can't be on live. But there are some people on our teams that are never live because they think they can just watch the recording. But those people are missing out. This engagement, seeing people's faces, being part of a team, the camaraderie, just the network with your sidelines when they see your face more, that's going to help you in your business. So the more you can be live, the better. And then, guys, if you ever do get overwhelmed, don't disengage. That's the worst thing you can do because guess what? Like all of us have been overwhelmed. We can help you. A lot of times, the first sign of someone being overwhelmed is I see it. They leave all the group threads. They leave all the message threads. They're not doing any of the challenges. They quit tagging their team. That tells me they're overwhelmed. So when they're overwhelmed, we have to have some chats about, okay, what are you overwhelmed in? And here's all you need to focus on right now. So especially the message threads, like let's talk just really briefly about those message threads. I'm going to use Sarah Cunningham as an example. I don't know if she's still on, I can't see, but she works a full-time job and she has a job where a lot of the time during the day, she cannot be on her phone. Even if I'm sending her text, like I know she's in a meeting and I'm trying to bug her, she can't reply. That's just the nature of her job. So by the time she would actually get home and look in like the Rockstar Leader thread, she had like 300 missed messages. And so she would feel completely overwhelmed. She felt like she was missing out. She felt like she had to get caught back up. And just the thought of that was like daunting, right? Well, here's what I told her and here's what I tell all of you guys. You have to be okay with not being in those threads during the day. If you can't, it's fine. Are you going to miss some awesome troubleshooting and some great chats between your sidelines? Yeah, you are. Is it anything, though, that's going to impact your business? No. If it's anything super important, it goes on the team page, right? Or your upline is going to send it to you in a private message, okay? Do not feel like you have to get caught up in those threads. Guys, I get into some of those threads, like Go Senior Gold, the Team Taylor one. I have like 500 missed messages. I don't scroll back up. I can't. That's not how I prioritize my time. All right. So please use them to your advantage because they are really, really good. And just attend though what is relevant to you in your business. Again, back when I started, we didn't have all this stuff. We had one team page, and I think we had one message thread. That was it. And so we were able to build our businesses without all of this stuff. Now, this is all amazing resources. It can help you probably build your business quicker and faster and give you great ideas with relationships and everything. And especially those sideline relationships are key to me. So if you don't have sideline relationships with people outside of your team, even people outside of Rockstars, you definitely want to get them. And being on these calls where people see your face and you see theirs, that's how you build those relationships. So let me check the chat real quick. Yes, yeah, all the threads and everything. So you definitely have to know how to prioritize and be like, okay, I couldn't be in the thread today. I missed all this stuff. It's okay. It's okay. But the threads are really good. One thing I would say though too is like with troubleshooting and any of that, guys, you can post on the team page. The team page is not mine. It is ours. So if you have a question, those threads are great to ask questions in because there's so many people and it's almost an immediate response because we do have people that between all of us, somebody is checking it during the day, especially. But if you don't need an immediate answer, you can post it on the team page and get just as many replies. It just might take a little bit longer, okay? All right, guys, let me stop share. That's all I had tonight. I hope that was helpful. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.